What's up, fellas? It's your main man, back on the scene with another video. Went to check out Sinners this past weekend down in Raleigh. I was down there for a birthday party, had a great time. Cousin had a 1970s, 1980s dress-up party, so everybody dressed up like that. Old school stuff. It was great fun. So we checked it out in the morning before the party. And I was not happy with this movie at all, man. So I give it about 2 stars. It took way too long for something to happen. It was like maybe an hour and 20 minutes before some action went down, which is way too long. In contrast, Underworld first action scene was 4 minutes and 26 seconds into the movie. This is when he first pulled out his guns to start shooting at the vampire. This is also the guy, Kevin, who wrote the movie. 4 minutes and 26 seconds. For Blade, it took him 7 minutes and 25 seconds before he pulled his gun out and blasted someone. So both movies took less than 10 minutes before the action started, which is good because you're not waiting too long for something to happen. This joint here, it was just too boring for me. I'm sorry. I know the PBs are ranting and raving about these symbolic gestures for FBA and blah, 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 this and that. I mean, if you like that, that's what you go to the movies for. Whatever floats your boat. I go for action. Gotta give me action. Or I will not be interested in it. Or it has to be a thinking man's movie. Something like Oppenheimer, I don't expect to see a lot of action because it's not about that. But a vampire movie needs action, which this does not have until over an hour into the flick. So the action pretty much starts when the vampire shows up at some clansman's house, steaming. He was being chased by some Indians. And he's telling these people, like, hey man, can you let me in? I'm being chased by some Indians. And they were like, man, there ain't no Indians been here in around, I don't know, let's say 20 years. They decided to let him in anyway. And the Indians did show up. But they left because they were like, oh, well, the sun's going down. We better hurry and get out of here. So they must have had something that, because he was steaming, his skin was coming off. So I'm assuming they had something that could fight against what he was. So he ends up turning them out. They show up at the club trying to get in. They had a banjo and all that. And did a little audition trying to get into the club. And they got turned away because they're white. So it was like a reverse shade whitey. But there was one white person in there. It was a girl that was dating one of the twins. And of course, she was the one who brought the evil in there. She went out they were hurting for money. So they figured, well, we might as well let them in and see what kind of money white folks are spending. So they sent her out there to see what they're talking about. They turn her. She goes back to the club and then she gets invited in because they couldn't go into the club unless they're invited in, which I did like that aspect. And they invited her back. And see, they didn't know that at the time that she was turned. She was like, oh, well, you going to let me back in? So, okay, yeah, you come back in. So she gets back with one of the twins. She turns one of the twin brothers out. And that's where it all started. And they kicked everybody out the club. And they out there, they had a whole scene of them singing vampires, because they were all vampires at that time. And I was like, come on, man. Just, if this was more like From Dusk Till Dawn, it would have been a classic. It would have been a lot better. But it's not enough action for me. This is more about the symbolism as opposed to the vampires. So that's what, in my opinion, that's what hurt the flick the most. The symbolism itself is not the problem. Because even with Underworld, it's about racism. If you caught that, the war between the slaves, the werewolves, and the elite vampires was basically the exact same argument you can make for racism. Victor did not want them to mix.
For years, we tried to combine the bloodlines. There can be no such union. And to speak of it is heresy.
So that's it, guys. I'm not going to drag it out. I'd give it 2 stars. I was happy with the flick. Just too slow for my taste, and I'm not really into overt symbolic gestures in movies. It doesn't do anything for me. If I want to watch something about social issues, I'll watch a documentary. Drop a comment below, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you brothers in the next video. Peace.